Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We, the sons and daughters of Indonesia, acknowledge one motherland, Indonesia. We, the sons and daughters of Indonesia, acknowledge to be one of nation, the nation of Indonesia. We, the sons and daughters of Indonesia, uphold the language of unity, the language of Indonesia. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fatan Ariel Pratama. I am from SMIN 1 Garut, and I'm here today to give you all a special occasion speech about the Youth Pledge Day. What is the Youth Pledge Day? The Youth Pledge Day is a yearly commemorative event in Indonesia that happened every 28th of October. Its purpose is to commemorate a historical event that happened on the same date in 1928. During that time, the participants of the Second Youth Congress pledged three things, which were called as the Youth Pledge. The Youth Pledge is one of the most monumental milestones for the Indonesian nation. Why? It's because the pledge was read by young people from various ethnic groups, religions, and regions. The pledge gave them a sense of unity and solidarity, which helped the growing Indonesian national movement. Today, the event is celebrated by not only Indonesians that live in the country, but also those who live overseas. Now that we have established the reason for why we commemorate Youth Pledge Day every year, I want to present to you an issue that have kept me wondering for quite a while. And that is an issue of unity and tolerance. Firstly, the unity issue. Indonesia is a nation that is built around unity through diversity. Currently, it has a population of 273 million people. Around 68 million of those are the youth generation. Our nation foundation and future is dependent on the youth generation. Our nation history is filled with the youth taking an action against a force of oppression to maintain freedom. They have always played an important and revolutionary roles in our country. They achieved this through unity. They have always been united by a common goal. Whether it's the 1908 Budi Utomo that tried to unite various youth organizations and fought for independence, or the 1998 movement that fought to remove a dictator from the position of power and make Indonesia become a better country. But in this current generation, the word unity has almost lost its meaning. In the old days, before a small problem can become a critical one, the youth generation would always take an action and give their opinion on a solution. But now, the youth would only take an action if the problem has become critical enough. This is obviously a problem because it is not only shows that the youth doesn't care about the nation politics not as much as they were before, it also shows that they felt more separated than before. How did this happen? There are various reasons that contributed to this problem. Aside from the generally lack of interest in politics, the major one is that youth are now generally only prioritize their own region. For example, if there is a problem in Papua, then only the Papua youth that will take an action and solve it, while other youth in other regions, such as Java, will turn a blind eye saying that it's too far or it's too insignificant. This is a dangerous sentiment because this sentiment could create a division between the different youths in different regions. Lastly, the tolerance issue. Our nation is considered as a model state for diversity and tolerance, but it is not always the case. One thing that I want to highlight is our history of discrimination against a specific ethnic. This discrimination has happened ever since the colonial era, though the most notable one was during the New Order regime. The specific ethnic were forced to assimilate to the country's major ethnic groups. They were forced to abandon their heritage, and especially in naming and language. This is what we call a systematic cultural genocide. Thankfully, after the New Order era, the specific ethnic began to have more rights and voice in the government. So from the long history of discrimination, I expect that there will be a mentioning of the event in a school history book. But I didn't find it either in elementary or even in senior high school. From all the issues that I have presented above, it is obvious that we have to fix our youth generation. How can we do this? The simplest thing that we can do is to use social media to get in touch with them. We have to fight hoax and disinformation. We have to reignite their flame, their passion, and we have to make them realize that every person, every religion, ethnicity that are part of Indonesia are worth to fight for. We have to remind them of the youth pledge our ancestors took 93 years ago. To finish this speech, I would like to tell you a quote from a House of Representatives Speaker, Mrs. Puan Maharani. She said that the spirit of youth pledge should never die out. It should never become dim, even for a single moment. That's all for my speech. Thank you for your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.